radio off. Right, hello YouTube peeps. Yet another. I'm going to have another go at building a box. Another box building time. It gets a bit stuck, but that's fine. At least it cuts good. One thing about these gentleman's saws, they call them, is that you can sharpen the saw, but doing the set, it's very difficult because of the size of the teeth. Something I came across. This is something from the works, and you get 4 for I think £1 a go. Yeah, there you go, £1, £1, and they great for corners on little boxes, so it's worth buying. A shop called The Works. You might be able to get them on eBay, who knows. I'm wondering if it's possible to jam lumps of wood down there. Yes, that's a lot easier. So it's not in the way of the camera. There we go. Now we're cooking on gas. How many do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there one on the ground? Yes, yes, we have 8. All identical. That's lovely. Super. Right, getting back to gluing and tacking. Obviously there's been another upload when it dries, so I'm putting some glue on each end like that. A bit more, perhaps a bit more liberal amount. So we've got those 2, then this one, let it set. That's the next. Got them all on top of each other like that. So next thing, let's put the lid on the glue. Tacking, just like we did yesterday, just like I did in it. So very, very carefully, just a little bit more. So it's got to feel right. Now I was doing a previous upload, I did build a smaller box, but this time I want to do a complete box, tops and sides, and opening as well, so that it's got a hinge on it. One of the problems with this type of wood is you always, because trees don't grow in a straight line, you will get a little bit of, you know, curvature perhaps. Now, one way around that is to use MDF. If you feel like you want to do that, I've often used MDF for slightly bigger boxes. It's great stuff. A lot of carpenters, I mean proper carpenters, swear by it. They're able to make things a lot more cheaply, quite elaborate devices, make them more cheaply by using MDF, because it's so strong. It looks like and feels like hardboard, but in actual fact it's not. It's a lot more strong than hardboard. To do the filming right now, one of the things I like to do is put a little lip on the inside like this, which is why we need 8 and then another 2 slightly shorter ones. Okay, so it goes along like that. Let's turn it that way around. I prefer it like that is best, I think. Yeah, like that, it's fine. There we go. I mean, in the Works, the shop called the Works, they've actually got boxes for a couple of quid each. I mean, so really, all of this, waste of time? Well, not if I've enjoyed doing this kind of thing. Yes, I could go and buy a box from the Works, but they are very thin wood, and some, yes, I mean it's lovely laser cutting, that the design they've got, like you know, like a, well, and look, I know that they've got elaborate designs in the lid of the lid and in the front, and sometimes they put plastic in there, you know, like clear plastic, and they do look really nice. But obviously, if you're making something like a project, a box, they may not actually have the perfect size that suits that job that you're doing. Carpenters would be mortified that I don't give a toss. Now these are holes, because if you try and, I do like to, with slightly bigger boxes, I always like to use nails to give it some more strength. And if you try and nail it on the end like that, near to the edge, it will split. Definitely will split, and that's not much fun when that happens, because you have to remake that one. It's a pain in the butt, it really is. That's that one done. And now this one that don't have the lips, yeah. All 4 sides done. This is 25mm panel pins and Sutcliffe. That's our name for a hammer. Because as you know, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. Ask Peter Sutcliffe. So it's being mean. I mean, he's mentally ill. He can't help the fact that he killed all those women. Just be thankful that we're not afflicted with the same problem. Oh look, there's a baby one there. Perhaps all the longer ones will take pity on it and look after it. It's not a problem when you're sort of hammering and that. Things do kind of vibrate and fall off the table. I might have a problem there, so what I'm going to do is drill down deeper into the thing. This is a 2mm drill, and I'm hoping that it's going to I mean, I suppose I should move it really because it's going to follow the same thing, but they can always be filled with filler. Usually so I was walking through the shop, and if anyone knows ESK, it's actually a pet shop. It's got pet supplies in it and DIY items. They sell all sorts of furniture, all sorts of things like that. And ESK, I think they don't know if they're a sort of up and down the country type affair, but there's one in Hastings, and I believe there's one in Eastbourne. So one of the problems with that is, of course, if you go in there and see polyfiller, someone might buy it thinking it's pet food and feed it to their parrot, and the parrot would die of food poisoning because it will think polyfiller is parrot food. Sorry. It's a repeat joke. Strange thing about humour is after you've heard a joke a number of times, it ceases to be funny, and after a few more times it becomes funny again. So there you are. How can we work that into a joke? Right, an Al-Qaeda parrot died of food poisoning because he ate a packet of polyfiller thinking it was parrot food. Now that's not doing anybody any harm, except Al-Qaeda, who gives a damn about them. So there you go. That is like a frame. Right, so obviously we need a front and a back, and a hinge goes there, and it's going to sort of open. It's difficult to describe like that really. Needs sanding down. It's a bit proud there, but that's fine. Okay, back again. Found this nice lump of MDF, I believe it is. So same again. All the way around. All the way around with the glue. I think there's something under there. all the way around with the glue. Trusty Yoo-hoo. In fact, interesting anecdote about glue, especially this horrible stuff. It gives off a lot of what's it got? Volatile substances, and it can cause my headaches, you know. And it's funny because I used to walk around in the DIY shops in the 1980s, I think. And you know, walking into a shop, DIY shop, oh, have you got any Evo stick? Because in fact, Evo stick and Yoo-hoo are very similar in that they are both impact adhesives, okay, and they both got quite strong fumes. That you know, recommended you don't sort of sniff them or anything, because it's not very nice. So going into a DIY shop, you know, list of items, hardboard, nails. Oh, have you got any super glue? Immediately they accused me of starting to sniff it. Oh, you're only buying it because you want to start sniffing it. Like hell. I mean, I used to suffer quite badly from migraines, and anything like super glue, or sorry, no, not super glue, Evo stick or that kind of Yoo-hoo or something like that, causes a migraine, causes a headache that goes on for days. It's the last thing I wanted to do, but it just shows you how small-minded. In actual fact, as they're working in the shop, they shouldn't really be selling it, because there is a concept in psychology known as Freudian projection, and they're only thinking that I would sniff the glue deliberately to get high, because that's what they'd do if they were given the chance. So, you know, a bit sick, but that's people for you. Can't even remember. It's starting to get to me. So if you use glue of this sort with what is it, something volatile, may cause drowsiness or dizziness. If advice is needed, sorry, I should hold it there. If medical advice is needed, have product container or hand. Keep out of reach of children. Avoid breathing in vapours. Yes, I should go, because both these doors are open and there's a breeze coming through. Dispose of contents container in accordance with national regulations and stuff. Yeah, I mean, really need to use this stuff in a well ventilated area, because it's really not very nice to inhale. That said, jump cut. Yep, that's my drug of choice. To hell with sniffing glue. Cough cough, that's the stuff. Helps your brain cell as well. It does mine. Wakes me up a bit. So now that's nice and tacky, gonna stick it on there, line it up nicely. This piece of MDF, I've always got bits of hardboard, MDF and various materials knocking around. Just happened to be again the right size for this purpose. That's nicely done. Put a bit of the old pressure on it, keep it pushed down. I want to put nails from front to back in this front panel, which is what's going to be, or top, or whatever it ends up. So I like to draw a line like that, because then we know exactly where to put the nails. It's a good idea to bung a few nails in carpenters being mortified. Drill pilot holes for nails. Yes, I know. Very naughty, I'm sure. but like I said, it works. Again, I forgot to put it into aeroplane mode, which is what I should have done. But there you are. Too late now. Get my trusty eclipse. Away we go. In fact, some people use these eclipse goss cuts, cutting carpet. And with the original goss cut device, you had different blades that were interchangeable, and this one is for cutting circles. It's a little bit tricky, takes a bit of getting used to, but it does actually work. I actually possess some total of 2 goss cuts. There's one I've had for around about 20 years, I think, and another one, I don't know where that came from, and this one, which is the more recent purchase, was from the boot fair. And I mean, one of the problems with something like the goss cut from a company's point of view is they're not something that ever goes wrong. I mean, obviously you can lose bits, and that would be a bit of a pain, but as I was trying to explain yesterday, or a couple of days ago when I was previous upload, at the cutting edge of the blade, there's a kind of a lip, slightly thicker at the front edge than it is at the plate, and you can also alter the amount, the space it cuts into. So from all, I mean, really, you're going to use it an awful lot to wear that right down to, so it's completely as flat as the rest of the plate. So there you are, got 2 of those. So that is the front of the box, and we're going to repeat the same thing at the back. So we'll come back then. This here is a Fix made in Germany plane. Now, unfortunately, yet again, it's another brilliant tool, brilliant idea that just, I don't know if you might be able to get them, I don't know, but it's perfect for this. So the nice thing about this Fix is they're called razor planes. Okay, so you actually fit well, something similar to a razor blade, because you can get a razor much sharper than I've ever managed to get a blade by using a stone. Obviously it's a skill, you get better at it as you practice, but I've worked out that if this blade wears out, okay, you can turn it round and you've got another sharp side there, but because it's simply a clamp, it's possible to get craft knife that snaps off, snap it off at each end, pop it in there, and you've got a whole new blade for very cheap, because they're not expensive. So those craft knife blades. So here we're tidying up the corners. It's not all bad news on the DIY front. Sometimes they're coming out with new materials, and this stuff is kind of clog proof sanding sheet, so the actual stuff comes through the other side. So I like to sand it down. This is probably where the hard work starts, but it's the most rewarding bit as well, I think. That's the I wonder if that's any good to, what does it say? It says something mouldings. That might help people getting hold of the stuff. Just stepped away to get hold of some high magnification factor glasses. It's not really helping, so I'll read. It says Cheshire Mouldings, and there's the size TM628. I've never really taken the trouble to look at those things. I've just gone and bought the stuff and stocked up on it, really. But it's helpful. Cheshire Mouldings, and it's got a little tree on there. Little tree. It's rather sweet. So that would help anybody trying to locate the stuff. Obviously, it's not a problem for me. I just go to the local Winchester's hardware shop and get the stuff, and that's all right. You know, I don't have to worry too much. But for someone looking for this sort of, all these materials, obviously it's a great help if you've got a name to go by. Decided to start using a rasp in various places. Okay, I've now finished both sides. That was the original side I started with, that was videoed, and this one is the other side. It's got to be sanded down a bit more. Now, one way of testing if a job's a good one is fits together like that. Okay, a bit difficult to get apart, and then it also goes on that way around. Perfect, nothing wrong with that. Something occurred to me. I know they're decorative ones. There's a possibility, it doesn't say, but I think there's a possibility they might be steampunk design. So who knows, maybe a steampunk guitar amp perhaps. Well, anyway, obviously those have got to be filled. It's got nice wood filler, and going to fit a hinge soon. But that job's a good one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.